Hello everybody, my name is Dimitris Kyriakou and this is a tutorial on how to add interactive elements on a video. In the previous tutorial we have seen the first 5 options which add some interactivity on the video but not as much as the elements that we are going to see in this video and the next one. So we will start by adding a statements element, interactive element on our video. We will see the first 4 options that allow the addition of elements that can be used in the form of exercises inside our videos. Now, all the previous interactive elements have been removed. So if you watch the previous video, they will not appear in this video. So we'll start from scratch. So I'm going to pick up the statements option and drag and drop it in my video. You can place it anywhere you want, as we have seen before. And the first thing I'm going to set up is the display time. So I want this question to appear on the 5th second of the video, and I want it to last for 5 seconds before it's been removed from the video. But because I want students to pay attention to it and have time to click on it and answer it, I will pause the video. So that means the student has to then click play manually in order for the video to continue playing. The option button is left there. Question label, I'm going to name it as question 1. So the user will see question 1 displayed in front of them. And once they click on it, this is the text that they will see. Choose the correct statement from the options below. So the first one, the first interactive element we're seeing in this video, it's a set of statements, and the student has to select which one is the correct one. Before we move on to the statements, to set up the statements, this is the compulsory field. It's metadata, so it's not shown to the students, but it has to be added. So I'm going to be naming it statements question 1. So it's my first question of this type of interactivity. So this is the set of statements that you have to set up. You have 2 of them open up. You can add as many as you want. You can click that add statement. There's a 3rd one. I can click. There's a 4th one. So you set up the statements there, a set of sentences, and the first statement is the correct one. So keep that in mind when you set up the question, the sentences. That's the first one needs to be the correct one. This will be shuffled in the question, so the student will see it in a different order every time. But you always need to define it first, which one is the correct one. So, for example, the capital of Cyprus is Nicosia. This is the correct statement, goes first. The capital of Cyprus is Limassol. This is incorrect. The capital of Cyprus is Larnaca. And the capital of Cyprus is Paphos. I can continue adding statements if I want to, but not at this point. I'm going to stop in the 4th one. Furthermore, you can add a tip, which is something, a helpful information for the student to read and help them understand which one is the correct answer. Remember, this is in the form of homework. Maybe you want them to revise some material. So if you want to help them, this is where you place the help. For example, I can say, Nicosia is very hot during the summer. Throw in a hint there. If I want to, I can add further statements and then move on. So it's like a second question of the same type. So they have to answer the first one and then they move on to the second one and so on. So and just demonstrate add statements. You can see it opens up a new window when you can set up a new set of statements with a new tip if you want and so on. I'm not going to do that right now. So I will confirm deleting the second set of statements. Now, with regards to overall feedback, nothing to do here. With regards to adaptivity, nothing to do here for now. So we click done. And let's go and see it. So I'm going to save and display, and let's see how it will appear from the student side. So the student will start playing the video, and you will observe that over the 5th second, bam, the question appears. I have paused the video, so the user has to click play to continue with the video. But once they click on it, they see the set of statements. Remember, first one is the correct, but you can see they've been shuffled. So baffles what was the 4th one, now is the 2nd one. Every time will be a different options set for every student. And this is the tip right there. So if they click on it, they see the information you've added in order to help them answer the question. So if they select the wrong answer, you say this is wrong, they can continue answering wrong, but once they click the correct answer, it will behave as that and say, all right, you found it, 3 wrong answers, you've answered the question, though you don't get the marks because we have the option for them to answer the question correctly in order to get the marks from the beginning. Continue. And you can see that the video continues, and on the 10th second, this question goes away. Now, I also want to point out something useful here is that if you go back to settings, we can actually go back to step 2. And when you reach the 5th second when the question appears, you can add a bookmark entry. So by clicking that, you can see add bookmark at 0.05. You may want to do that. Click and say question 1, enter. So once you add it up, you can see that once you click the bookmarks icon there, now includes your bookmarks entry, which is very useful if you add multiple questions. You can just click on that and it will jump to that question. So if you are in, say, in the 8th minute and you click the bookmarks and click question 1, it will jump to that specific part of the video. This is very useful in tracking your questions, especially when you have multiple of them. All right, the second type of question I want to point out is the single choice set. So this one, if we drag it and drop it anywhere on the video, I can say that, all right, this one will appear between the 10th second and the 15th. Once again, I'm going to pause the video so the users can see it. And I'm going to specify that this is question 2 that they have to answer. This is metadata once again. You just need to add it in for searching reports and copyright information as it says there. And this is where you specify the question. So for example, what is the capital of Cyprus? I'm going to be using the same question along the various types so we can see the different presentation from every option that we get. Now, this is the case where it's a multiple choice question. They have to pick the correct answer, and the answer is only 1. So it has to be the first one that you define here. So I have to say Nicosia is the correct answer. I'm going to say Limassol. I'm going to add another answer and say Larnaca. And add another answer and say Paphos. You can continue adding answers as many as you need. If you want, you can continue with a second question and a second set of alternatives. Let's do that. Let's do that. So what is the capital of France? And in this case, we're going to have Paris because it has to be the first one set. And I'm going to go with Rome and add one more, Berlin. You can add a new question if you want. So I will add a third question with the third set of options and so on and so forth. Currently, we have 2 questions set up. Overall feedback, nothing to do here. Nothing to do here, just click done. And let's go and see, by going save and display, let's see how the users will observe first and second question. So the video will start playing. On the 5th second mark, we get the first question, all right, as before. So I'm going to answer it. See, now it marks it as correct, getting a star. Click continue. And then once it gets on the 10th second, bam, get the second question. And the video is paused. If I click play, you'll see that question 1 goes away because we already set it up for 5 seconds, but the second question is there. Once we are on the second question, we can click on it and answer it. So by the way, there's sound there, so we will hear in confirmation that we are answering correctly or not. Now, the thing about this type of questions is that once the user answers incorrectly, it's giving away the correct answer. All right, there's no way of eliminating that with this type of question. So if I say this one, Paris, you can say that I'm correct, and it will tell me that I have answered 1 of 2 questions correctly. Now, these are the buttons that we get retry and show solution. We can click show solution and see which ones are the correct answers, and we can go back and try again. All right, so Nicosia and Paris. And now, since we have answered both of them correctly, we don't get the retry and show solution options. So if we click continue, the video will continue moving on. Now, I want to remind you that the reason we are getting the retry and show solution buttons is because of the options we've set in the first step. So in the first video, in the behavioral settings, I had set there the override show solution button to be enabled for all questions and the retry button to be there for all questions. We didn't see that in the first one in the statements types of element. That's not there for them, but with regards to this question, it's there. So if I go on and say disabled, both of them, that will not show the button for show solution and the button for retry for this type of question, for any type of questions. All right, so you may want to disable that. So in this case, if I save and display, if I go back again to the second question, so you can see the first question, there is no solution and retry. So it's a different type of question. But with regards to the second question, where before we were getting the show solution and retry, if I answer that now, although I may say incorrectly, it will show me the correct answer. There's no overriding that. But once I get to the final step, you will see that now you don't get the 2 buttons, but we're getting them before. So although they have seen which one is the correct solution, they cannot retry this question. Moving on to the third type of question, and that is the multiple choice. I'm going to drop that in, and I'm going to set it up to start between the 15th and the 20th second. I'm going to pause the video once again, and the label will display question 3. And this is my multiple choice question 1, first question of that type of questions. This is the case where you have multiple correct answers, not just the first one. So which of the following are cities in Cyprus? This is my question, and this is the text. So I can say Nicosia and tick of it as this is the correct one. I can have Paris, don't tick that is correct. I'm going to add two more options. I'm going to say Limassol and tick that as correct. And also add one more and say Rome and not tick the appropriate checkbox. Of course, for any one of them, you can add information, tip. So for example, Nicosia, if I click on it, I can say, this seems correct. So it's like giving them the answer, helping them out. All right, don't need to fill that. So I'm not going to do any other tips for Paris, Limassol, and Rome, just for Nicosia. Once again, overall feedback, nothing to do there. Behavioral settings, although it has that enable retry button, show solution, we are overriding these settings from step 1. Okay, this is the point when they randomize the answers, which I've told you before. So it's by default enabled. Okay, and you can see that it requires 100%. So the student must answer the whole question correctly in order to consider it as correctly answered, passed mark. Just click done. Let's go and see it. Save and display. Once again, once the video starts, we will see on the 5th second the first question. Click play. We will see on the 10th second the second question. There you are. We click play. And then on the 15th, the third question will appear. There you are. And the video is paused all the time because I have set it up as so. So if I click on it, there you have, there's the tip. This seems correct. So I can click as many as I want to, since this is a multiple choice question with multiple answers. And once I click check, it's telling me that I've got 2 points from the correct answers, minus 1 point from the incorrect one. I don't get a retry, I don't get a show solution buttons because those were overridden from step 1. Click OK, video continues, goes on. Let's see one more. Edit settings, and let's go and add from step 2 the option of true false. All right, so I'll add it there, and I'm going to say that it should start on the 20th second, and once again last for 5 seconds. Pause the video so the student can see, have time to interact with it. Label, it will be question 4. And the metadata for this one will be true or false question 1. First type of this question. All right, so in this case, we'll say Nicosia is the capital of Cyprus. And it's true or false? So we're leaving it as true. Click done. And if we save and display, we will see once again another interactive element added on our video. So we get 5th second question 1, 10th second question 2. I'm clicking play there. Right, it's paused automatically, so I'm clicking play. On the 15th second, you will see question 3 appears. If I click play, then this one goes away. And then on the 20th, we will have the 4th question appearing. There you are. And there's how it appears. Nicosia is the capital of Cyprus, true, false. If I answer correctly, I'm getting full points, I'm getting a star, click continue, this is recorded in my grades. Okay, as before, I want to emphasize the importance of adding bookmarks. So right now we have 4 questions. It's rather difficult to track them in the video. You can see that you have the options there, right? So if I click the bookmark, I only added a bookmark for question 1, which is on the 5th second. So what it's good for us to do is every time we have a question, we add another bookmark. So add bookmark at the 10th second, yes. And I'm going to name it question 2. This is very useful, especially once you move on and add multiple questions. This is the way for you to jump to any question at any time of the video later on. So I'm going to add another one here for question 3. Enter, we'll record it. And then I have one more on the 20th, which is question 4. There you go, add bookmark. So now I can jump to any question at any time in order for me to go on and edit it if I want to. All right, this is the end of this tutorial with regards to the first options for adding interactive elements in the video in the form of exercises. Thank you very much.